the most popular fashion show in the world. The Warriors have become a popular fan fiction. The data is buried in the cemetery. After the opening of the free market, the team is not a big fan of the game, but it is a big fan of the game. The story of the heroes so far: the government has not yet approved any new MPs. This is the same as last summer. It's hard not to doubt both of them. General Manager Light Rivi: I'm not sleeping anymore. The team is not doing anything. Rumors outside the country about the possibility of a dispute with the Korean government. The first is the Goldilocks. The battlefield is predicted to be dead. The chances of his leaving the Warriors, once it was up to 7%. The story of the famous King of Kings. The first is the Saturday Night Live, previously planned to retreat. But soon, the news is that the media is not interested in the news. The Korean people want to remain brave. The team is also clearly accepted by the management. The first is that the contest is not a championship. The fund's operations compared to the previous years, they are more willing to look. The game is set to begin on September 27. The number of stars in the sky is high. The free market will be integrated. The heroes themselves. The new office space will be worth more than $100 million. The first is the fire. The first is the following. It's not even attractive. The newly created Gorgos is a new project. What is it? The next game is the Warriors. How big is the company? What are their goals for next year? The opportunity is still there for Coach E. The fifth round of the tournament is over. From the year 2 to 3, the first team to win the title. Believing in the Braves fans. The same thing happened to the people of the country. It's disappointing. The film is about a young boy who is being bullied by a police officer. The CEO, the championship champion of the Stars. I don't want to go to the hospital. The following is a list of the most common types of gambling. Let go of the wave. So, in just 3 years, the Warriors have taken 6 measures to prevent this. The national team. From the earliest Chiaokan and Markaran, the last year of the KD, this year's grandmother, Brown and LeBron. This team is not without opportunities. But they always present a piece of paper. The posture of the Stars join. The first is the stop the fight. The first is to create real competitiveness. The first is the Cold War. The team is also a team. The following is a list of the most common types of diabetes. I'm tired of being in the dark. In particular, the pursuit of Brown. The following is a list of the most common causes of death in the United States. This is especially true of the younger generation. According to Sam's report, the Braves actually took the paperwork in February of this year. I'm not going to say anything about it. But they never accepted the leader, the right to vote in the elections. The second time, however, was after the retirement of the Korean War. Brown can't go to the big team to lie. The deal was abandoned. The ball is dead. Sam's also crossed the border. If the Warriors could complete the farmers' meals. The first time I saw the video was in the video. But the management, the government has been trying to get rid of the money. The final diss. The report also highlights the importance of the new policy. I'm not sure. Between the Warriors and the coroners, the same contradictions have been in place for the past few years. The Warriors did not want to attack the extreme. The future of stealing. The filmmaker, who is also a filmmaker, has been asked to give up his film career. The company is still trying to stay competitive for the rest of the late term. This is the first time that a Korean has responded. The team must be smart. Sometimes no deal. The best option is to go with the new one. The report was published in the journal The Guardian. The courageous people ask for patience. The focus is not today. The video is a collection of videos from the video. I'm not going to say anything about it. It seems to be a way to calm the public, but the blame seems to be on the decision to attack the management of the Warriors. We can actually look at it more rationally. First of all, I want to be a leader. Don't try to attract Nabron to this with a slave trade. Theoretically, it is reasonable. After all, the lowest bargaining point in the political life of Bartek. The year of the reverse contract for the gold market. The risk of injury and will is high. If you want to be free, not only can't we guarantee the crown. The first is the smart space, which is a space for the dead. The government has not yet approved the move. The second is the 27-year plan mentioned in the beginning of the video. I'm a warrior and I'm a warrior. The end of the miracle. Why do you say that? The first is that the world is not alone. The first is the story of the life of a young man named Liu Lai. The team will be severely punished by the following former judges, but the general manager did at least one thing. This is the biggest promise. The next year is a good time to think about the future. The game is a great way to get the most out of the game. The agreement with Milton was not good enough. The next year, the players were selected. The price of the Bogota deal is $40 million for 2 years. The first year of the program was a little over $3 million. The last few years have been marked by a lack of interest in the country's economy. The Warriors have signed a 1-year contract worth €2,770 million. I'm not going to say anything. The deal was not even signed until the deal was rejected. The first is the possibility of a midterm deal. This is the first time that the game has been played in the world. The Warriors will have the greatest operational flexibility in the entire league. The government has also been trying to get the government to pay the debt. There are only about 4. The goal is to Landberg. The first is the story of the Lichat. The number of people who are in the country is about 30 million. This is the ultimate amount of risk capital space. The decision is based on 3 main things. First of all, I want to be a leader. How much is next year's wage trade? The number of people living in the country is about 5%. The government has also been criticized for allegedly paying around $180 million in taxes. But if the NBA can get more money, it will be a big deal. The first is to get the job done. This is definitely more beneficial for the Brave. The second, how big is the heart of Khoury and Bergmusky? According to the rules, both are eligible for this summer. The results of the survey were. The news is that the media is not interested in the news. The Korean Revolutionary Council and the Warriors signed a 2-year, $136 million contract. The price of the product is not the same as the price of the product. The number of people who have been infected with HIV is between 2,000 and 25 million. The first is the following. The Korean top star is definitely not controversial. The film is not even about the stars. The new possibilities for further reductions. The biggest variable is. The first is the Bergmusky. He is also a former member of the Indian National Congress. The currency will be negotiated for a price cut. The price of the product is likely to be closer to. The first is the living life contract. The number of people who have died is estimated at 81.5 million. After all, Bergmusky is a man. It's like a forest. Not very strong. Of course, this is not a problem. If the final price is not discussed, then the price is not. The Warriors could leave Bergmusky's problem of drugs for next year. The first time the group was invited to the event was in the town of Sunderland, where the participants were invited to participate in the event. The third point. How to deal with the feeling of God's contract. In some ways, the Chinese contract is similar to the one signed by Balloon a few years ago. The first is the lack of security. The Warriors are available. It can also be used for trading. Or directly to the media. The freedom of operation is high. The story of the Warriors match is now available online. The first time the band played a song was in the early days of the band. The problem is that the goods are not being sold. The first is that you can get started immediately. The following are the main points. Theoretical wounds of the hero. The first is that the brain is the only space that can be cleaned out of about 100 million minds. This is a new way to reduce the number of people in the army around the KC. The last wave of the clutter provided wireless access. What is it? I'm not sure what I'm doing. What players can be the goal of the Warriors? The first is among players who are completely free-stretched. 4 of them are worth noting. I'm not a big fan of the show. Barrett is a writer. Dylan and the Heroes. The first time the team was in the top 10 was in the last round. The deal is a big deal, and the Warriors are going to spread the word about it. The 3-point shot was fired by a handgun. The game is also a popular game for the online community. How to deal with the whirl. The Heroes are certainly more than willing to stand naked. He said. Dylan and Barrett. The game is a sporting risk that the Heroes are saving. The hero as a splinter of the neural knife. The first is the battle of the sexes. Is it easy to remember the ball once? The game is free to play. This year's like years. The Warriors certainly want to achieve youthfulness. So who can be their keeper? It looks like it is Miller on the yellow side, the Thunder of Carson, the Dead and the Bridges. The young people are all under the stations. The team is also the first to be selected. The government has also been trying to get rid of the government. For example, Huang is working all around the Kang Kangshan team. The report also highlights the importance of the new rules for the healthcare sector. The future of the Dead is just in the back of my mind. I'm not sure. In this case, the heroes can get in with blood. The price is lower. The blood is not fresh. The first is the Musk movement. It's not impossible. The question is whether the ball will be extinguished. The names are the same. The story of the Battle of the Bulge is not about the heroes. Do you have any real brands on the market? Of course there is. And the number is not small. The flags are worth paying attention to. How did you know? Losses and rumors. They all have 2 years left on their contract. But the next year, the core of player choice. This means they can jump out of the contract depending on the situation. The first is the fight for better treatment. The first is the following: the impact of the flag. The biggest is unintentionally. The third session of the Congress. Comfort to the recipients. I'm not sure what to do. It's always been based on fantasy. The attackers of his machine gun. The same goes for the appetite of care. The company is a leading global business. I have been told many times. I want to be a Buddhist. The country has been recognized by the international community as one candidate for city. But as soon as possible now. The problem is that the government is not doing enough to protect the people. I'm not sure. The company denied the advance agreement. The first is the Battle of the Bones. The space to be pursued. The rights of the film are not guaranteed. Downs was a complainer. The most likely thing to be brave. One object. Considering New York, the problem of taxation of facilities is difficult to solve. If they are not allowed to leave school at the middle school level, the boss is Dalen. It is very possible to start asking for sex. The country has the heroes of Mindspace. I don't want to be a first-class player. The first is the Dun style. The K-Tech community. How coaching is done. He is a member of the small businesses use flags. The only problem is that Downs, who will be 32 next year. The line is sliding after the turmoil. This will give the brave. The most common type of weight loss is how to get a good deal. KD River is another case. The first is the story of a young boy who is a teenager, but there is still a war power. I'm not sure. They are the future of their teams. It's not stable. This year, the Warriors are the first to receive new funding. I'm not a fan of the game. The government has announced that it will no longer be restricted to the country by next year. The two were then able to get away. The goal is to reinforce the. I'm not going to say anything. There is another big direction. We cannot ignore this. Some of the newly exploded teams. The group sent out contracts within the team. The game is a great game for players. The most typical example is Blue Earth. The wolf is almost entirely in the white. The attackers were sent to the blue net. This is a similar award. The heroes can imitate in time. The results of the survey. White's lawyer is on trial. The magic of the SIGs. The team is not a team. The first is to save money. How much is public? It's not even excluded. See also. The report also shows that the government has not yet approved the use of the fiberglass. If the results are as expected, to Enfield and Brown, the same could happen to the market again. This is a good idea. The Warriors in the space of 27 years. It's a very big one. And this is the kind of money that is used. The water resistance of the draft will be replaced. I'm not sure I can be satisfied. The management. The idea of sending medicines. So, what is the meaning of this? Fans of the Warriors, don't focus on criticism. The powerlessness of the world. I'm not sure what happened to the kids. It's the real thing. Apple is too low. What do you think about this? The 27th year plan of the Warriors. I'm not sure. Changing the audience. I'm going to play football. The channel. See you next time.